Joseph, we on ready to do this thing, brother?
Yes, sir. Rock and roll.
Let's do it.
KTTV, giving you what you need. Motivation, education unleashed. H-Town representing, we forever keep it rolling. Join the conversation with inspirational stories. Thought-provoking, feel that energy. Kendrick Thomas aiming to lift the community. True indeed, tune in, come and see. Giving you what you need. KTTV, let's go. KTTV.
All right, buddy. He just can't.
I think you're on me, Kendrick. I think you're on me, brother. You might be on me.
Okay, can you hear me now?
There we go. I think he was on mute, brother.
All right, now I can hear you.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
We on it.
I can hear you. Testing. Can you hear me?
All right, man. We're gonna keep it simple here.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. I still can hear you.
Damn.
All right. Let me see here. Hold up, y'all. This is the day we look. Okay, so we on.
Yeah.
But I can't hear nothing in the background.
Can you hear me now? Testing.
Right. Let's just take it old school. Okay, now I can hear.
Yeah, I can hear. Can you hear me?
You can still hear me. I can't hear him. All right, y'all. Technical difficulties tonight. Okay. All right. Let's see what's happening here. Yeah, we still working this thing through. Okay, y'all. We might come back in. Because as soon as we went live, things switched up.
Yes. Show business, baby.
All right, what we got? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I got you. Can you hear me?
Ain't still hear nothing. Okay, sounds like a robot key. Okay.
Testing. Can you hear me?
All right. Let's disconnect this thing. Okay, we took this thing back.
All right, testing. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you, bro.
All right.
Yeah, man. Look, man. I got the whole setup over here.
Yeah.
With the and I tell you, look, I'm gonna close this and come right back in.
I got you.
Y'all stay locked in. Be right back.
Mm-hmm. I don't know if anybody on here you can hear me. I'm gonna do a little beat for y'all on a commercial till you get back. Can you hear me?
Test.
Gotcha.
All right, brother. So look, man, we gonna finally end this thing.
Hey, let's go, baby.
And I got to see if somebody's gonna hear me. Give me a little feedback. I don't know what's happening tonight. I set up a new computer. I got the whole Rodecaster Pro set up. And the iron and light.
That's technology, man. That's technology.
Hey, Murphy's Law.
Yeah.
Hey, so man, I guess what I want to do, man, and let's start this thing all the way back over. We're gonna go back to the intro and we're gonna kick it back here.
KTTV, giving you what you need. Motivation, education unleashed. H-Town representing, we forever keep it rolling. Join the conversation with inspirational stories. Thought-provoking, feel that energy. Kendrick Thomas aiming to lift the community. True indeed, tune in, come and see. Giving you what you need. KTTV, let's go. Hey, KTTV. Hey.
What to do, KTTV? We go for the second time in the same show. Hey, man, what? Director of Fine Arts at Alief ISD, Mr. Renferd Joseph. How you doing today, Mr. Joseph?
Hey, man, I'm well. No complaints.
Look, man, I don't think it's all things no good anyway.
Yeah, hey, you complain. I tell people complain, ain't gonna give you $1.
Ain't gonna give you. You gonna get it how you live.
Hey, that's how we working, right?
Man, so, I just want to say thank you, like taking some time out of the busy schedule. Still came down with the tie, setting the stage for the night now. So, first inaugural show of the season. Got big plans for this season, man. Not only will we be doing an interview, but I got a few more pieces, man, of just talking about trending topics in education. I know we get a lot of views. Let me see what they say. Here we go. As right here, what's that? Hey. Well, yeah, so getting a lot of feedback, a lot of segments, but overall, man, I'm excited to get back into the season. So I want to say again, thank you for coming on for this inaugural show.
Man, I appreciate you for the opportunity, but I'm honored to be here, brother.
Now, as we get into 3 seasons, I never want to show without doing that wellness shit, man. You know, school starting back, we're getting back into the flow. How are you, brother? How have you been since the school year started?
Man, I'm great, man. You know, this is God's work that I'm doing, so you know, I put one foot in front of the next every single day, man. Just let him order my steps, man. So I'm great, man. Seriously.
Yes, sir. That's it. But I think one thing, I'm looking forward to this interview. I had an interview, I remember, with Miss Key. Miss Key. And so we talked about the arts, we talked about her I think it was her grandson, or either niece and nephews. And so one thing we talked about was that fountains and just that music and all that in Alief ISD. So being able to have you on to kind of represent that, especially from our world, man, where I heard you when I came back in, you had the beat going for it. So, hey, man, for those that don't know, give us a little bit of background on you and your current role.
Yeah, so currently, this is my 5th year in Alief, year 22 in education. I've been a director of fine arts in 2 different school districts, fortunately. So this is year 8 as a director of fine arts. Before that, I was a campus administrator. Before that, I was a high school and middle school band director. And we go backwards, I was at Texas Southern University in the marching band, Ocean of Soul. I was drum section leader there. 3 or 4 years I marched, and then before that, I was at Jack Hayes High School. Pumping and driving with the band program there. And so, born and raised in Houston, Texas.
Man, I think got another
glitch.
Got another. I think you went out. Can you hear me still?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Hey, I think man, this is rough tonight, man.
Nah, I say, man, listen, we're gonna get through.
Let me see, why is it not playing?
Nah,
I can't hear a thing over here.
I can hear you real good.
Okay, for some reason, this just took out the whole situation. Okay, say something for Mr. Joseph.
Testing. Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can. That thing is boy, this is bro.
Nah, it's all good. Hey, I'm a performer, man. So whatever we need to do to make it work.
Okay. Okay, we back.
Yeah,
and so, yes, sir, I can hear you. So now, when you say 2 different districts, I know Alief, where else?
So before I was in Main ISD up in the Austin area, so the east of Austin, smaller school district, but did some good work up there as well.
Man, I know about that, man. I coached at another high school.
Okay.
Football and track, Brian. And so, man, of course, band, we would come down there, man. It is bad about Maynard, man. So, man, that was it. Wow, such a small connection, man. But yeah, that was awesome. Okay, cool, brother. And so then 5 years in the league, now in the game. So, yeah. When you thinking about because I well, I transferred down on street. They didn't have a music program. But it started way going in that choir, right? Doing that work, elementary school choir, high school choir. For you, what was it really that sparked that passion to say, man, I'm gonna jump into the music. Then I know when I'm going into the band, like what sparked all that?
Man, I'm gonna be honest, man. I had no intentions on being in the band, like zero. My whole family, man, all my brothers, man, everybody is sports. Everybody play football, from outside, from light pole, hot ball, whatever, right? 7th grade year, play football, undefeated. Get to 8th grade year, the coach made me the quarterback because I was even-handed, right? And so 3 games in, man, we lose the first 3 games. Like every time I say hike, I get sacked. And I was like, nah, this ain't it for me, When I get to the locker room, I realize I'm the only one that's really mad about losing. I'm like, man, I ain't with this losing business, right? And so I told my mom, I said, hey, man, I don't want to be on the football team no more. These guys don't care about losing, and I'm not with the losing business. So she was like, well, go turn your stuff in until the coach you quit. I said, well, I asked her, can you tell him for me? She's like, nope, you tell him. Yeah. And so I went and told him, man, and then next thing you know, that next week, my schedule got changed and they put me in the band class. And I was like, why you put me in the band class? I wasn't trying to be in the band. Yeah. But then Kendrick, I tell you, I got in there and there was a bunch of girls in there. So I was like, okay, I can do this. And so from there, man, it really just took off. You know, it really did, from middle school, high school, to college, and I never looked back. And it's just something I was naturally good at that I didn't have to put so much effort into, and I naturally shined at it. So that was really my start in it.
Yeah, and the crazy thing is how you just find those one or two things that trigger your trajectory, and like that was the move. You know, like I say all the time. Yeah, alcoholics in recovery go through a 12-step program, but it's always that one decision that put them on the path to recovery, right? So, man, that was it, brother. Come on, man. So now, jumping into that work, you got the artistic part. You know what it sounds like. So how do you manage? Going in and saying, okay, I can't give them everything. We still got to get the curriculum down. We still got to go through this. But after that, we're going to fine tune this. And so as you go to different schools, how do you balance just going in and doing both of those?
Yeah, man, I'm going to be honest. It's a tough balancing act, brother, because, you know, one thing I can tell you as a director of fine arts, you cannot be the band director's band director, right? So you have to have a level of respect and trust for the teachers that's doing the work on the ground, because they're in the weeds with the kids. You know, they're on the ground, they're doing the work every day. So my approach has always been, you know, I'm gonna motivate you, I'm gonna encourage you, I'm gonna inspire you, you know, I'm gonna support you. Now I'm gonna challenge you now, I'm gonna push you, because I've done it at a high level, right? So I know what I see. When I see talent in front of students in front of me, I'm like, man, this kid can do way more than that, you know. But my goal is to allow the teachers to find their own footing. And then I kind of come back and tell them, hey, now what? So you just did this. How do we get to that next level? You know, how do we think outside the box and really push them? Because, you know, kids are resilient, man. These kids will produce more than what we think they can. You know, so for me, my approach is just kind of just be there, keep them pumped up, keep everybody pumped, right? And then just say, hey, if you go off the rails, whatever, come on back. You know, but I'm gonna push you in that right direction. But they got to do the work. So my job is to support them as much as I can and give them the things they need, because, you know, I know what it's like to be a band director, stand up late at night, write music, writing drills out for halftime. So, you know, I get it, you know, but it's like I have to keep a focus because of all the buildings, everybody operates different. So you can't pigeonhole people to do it like I said do it. No, let's find your right. Let's push from there.
Okay. Man, I still got some people saying still static.
Okay.
So what I think I'm just gonna try to restart everything. Let me see if I come back in. All right, y'all. Hold on, we'll be right back. Let me try to reload. All right.
Can you hear me now?
I still about the same. Let's see. Can you come out and come back in?
Yeah, let me try that. Gotcha.
Okay, let's see. All right, y'all. We're finna try to fix this. We're gonna try to fix this audio for y'all. Try to get back in here. I know how frustrating that can be, especially when we got some good stuff going on here. If y'all could just hold tight, we're gonna be right there. Okay.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Does it sound better?
Yeah. Okay, y'all. Tell me how we sounding now. We should be back to normal.
Let me see.
Yeah, we sounding like new money right now. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I got you.
Okay, yeah, they say, yeah, everything is good to go now.
Are we good now? We in there like swimwear, right?
Look, man, you the cracking like hey, we got hey man, yeah, man. So but like you say, man, that's so important, you know, because you say I want to implement so much of me and I want to do this, but in your role, it can't be you. Like you said, you got to go back in, you got to let that teacher find a foot, and then you give that information when you can. But other than that, we just roll, man. So most definitely on that. And so do they ever call you in, kind of say, hey, Mr. Joseph, can you come in and work with a little bit, or they try to do their own thing?
No, you get a couple to say, hey man, I need you, some eyes, or I need some ears to come listen to the group and tell me what you think and give me your honest feedback. And so, you know, I'm honored whenever someone calls me and say, hey man, can you come check this out and tell me what you think? hey, I'm there, but again, you have to know what your role is in leadership, right? I can't do it for you because I have 200 plus teachers. So I can't divide myself that much to get around, but I'll never tell a person no, because I know what that feels like to hear the word no, on several occasions. So I just try to be flexible, man, and just be a support. If you ask me for the feedback, I'll give you the feedback, and kind of coach from there.
Yeah. My first year having a mentor last year was Mr. Lewis over at Kirk. And man, when I would go inside of that band room or just to work or see those theater kids, man, I say this is what it's about. Because them young brothers and sisters over there put it in.
Yeah, they put some work in, man. They put some real good work in.
Yeah, man. And so when you think about that, and like I say, I think about my teachers, Miss Baker, my choir director. Even in school, I had Mr. Montez for college, who when I was learning Italian opera, and his brother would show me how to do it. Right. And so with all that, man, who was that mentor that influenced you, and how did that kind of shape your path once you guys sat inside the band?
I really say three, man. Three of my band directors. Prophet Edward Jackson, rest in peace. He was my high school director. When I tell you, Kendrick, no games, drill sergeant, that was him. So I learned a lot about standards and expectations at the high school level from him. And so he's the one who really inspired me to want to be a band director. And then when I got to college, one of my music professors, Prof. Benjamin Butler, who founded Texas Southern University's band program, he was one of my private, instructors or whatever. And so he was the drill sergeant, man. He did not let me come in there and slack off. He was like, man, I expect this of you, and you're gonna do it every day I see you. So I didn't get the opportunity to be in the back of nothing. So he pushed me, right? And then my college band director, Prof. Lee, we call him the general, man, just smooth with it, man. When I said a master of kissing babies and shaking hands, he had it all down packed, man. So I said the three of them really taught me a lot about standards, what excellence really looks like and how to push yourself, beyond what you think you're capable of doing. So they really groomed me, man, just over the last years of my life, and just showed me this is what excellence looks like. Like these other guys might slack off and they might be chilling. That's not your path. You need to be here. And so for me, I just owned up to it, man, and accepted it. It was tough, but hey, here I am now.
Come on now. And that's it, brother. And so with that, you think about kids and the things that we go through, because I tell my people, everybody got a story. If you black and you're not rich right now, you probably didn't come up that way. And so just going through those pieces, I guess one, asking how did your engagement in school period change as a result of the arts? But then have you seen that over the years with kids? And so with that engagement changing for school simply because they're part of something else?
Yeah, I think for me, man, honestly, I like school, because it was I hung out with a good group of people or whatever, so it was cool. But I never really was, I'm rushing to my history class, or I'm about to run to this math class. For me as a band kid, we lived on that band hallway. That was family to me, right? And so I remember what that felt like, right? And so what I see here in Alief, the 5 years I've been here, is the one factor that I see that's clear over the 5 years is self-confidence. Our students compete a lot locally, at the state level, national level. And man, like when they walk in, they're team Alief. Like I listen to other schools like, oh man, they go Alief. We was in Phoenix this summer for the national speech and debate tournament. And man, them kids walking up to the airport, man, if they Letterman jackets on, they got Crocs on, headphones. Yeah. You thought they were celebrities walking in there. I was like, man, let me get a selfie with these kids, But the confidence level is at an all-time high, because when your teacher pouring into you and you have that skill set, I tell people, you're not cocky, you're not arrogant, you're confident, you're prepared, and so a lot of people might not have it, but I can see for sure the transformation in the arts is the self-confidence is the main thing I can see the fastest in children.
Mm-hmm. And with that, did you so you think about that high school, and when I was in living on the campus, it was KK Sci.
Yeah.
Did you join that?
No, man. I joined Phi Mu Alpha, man, which is the national music fraternity. So that's the bigger umbrella. So my thing was, if I'm gonna do something, I gotta go hard or go home, right? And shout out to the Kappa Kappa Psi brothers or whatever. But you know, that was for me, that was limited to the band organization, you know, but Phi Mu Alpha was open to all music, right? And so I wanted to be a part of something that I knew how we used to say was Phi Mu Alpha was like the American Express card. There no limits on it. Let's go, you know. And so, you know, when I got on, man, shout out to my line, man, class of 01. But yeah, man, it was a really good experience. I learned a lot, traveled around the country, and met a lot of brothers across the nation, man. Yeah. And so you start realizing where your placement is. Like, yeah, I might be the big dog at Texas Southern, but then when I travel to Grambling, let me see who the big dog is here and see where I kind of, you know, how I manage myself at that point. But yeah. Experience.
So damn, you can't talk about Texas Southern, and then slide to that Grambling.
Yeah.
Now, who is your band in the SWAC?
For me?
Yeah.
Hands down, Texas Southern. I'm riding with the home team all day.
Don't have the home team.
Yeah, but if I had to put the home team aside, you know, the next group I would say would probably be Southern University out of Baton Rouge.
Yeah. Like one of my hall monitors, man. He played in the band. I seen that brother today. High stepper. I say, brother, you like you on the 50-yard line. I must say it's my hips. I was like,
hey, pick the knees up. Let's go.
Hey, well, I'll tell you, man, that's what he be doing. Oh, yeah, man. I'm talking about like 1986, 87 band, remember, man. Back in the clutch. He's still in there.
Yeah, he's still
man. I think they just had like a reunion last year somewhere. So then I had made him some shirts for the reunion with the band and the music note on there for Southern. I said, come on, man, these boys. I'm not gonna lie to you, man. Every year Bayou Classic, I look and decide if it's gonna be Grambling or Southern. But you know, Louisiana boy, that was always what we learned.
Yeah, I tell people, you know, them kids learn how to play instruments, man, when they drinking out of a bottle. You know, it's just a different culture. You know what I'm saying? It's just they're rooted in that. Now I've gone to the Bayou Classic, man, 20 plus years, and it never disappoints. You know, but that's the, you know how people say Texas is like a sports, it's for athletics, it's a football state. Louisiana is just driven off of music. I mean, you know, you might not even know how to really read a book, but you might be out there playing a trumpet on Bourbon Street or somewhere. So it's just a different culture.
Most definitely, brother. That's a good point. I'm telling you, one of my key college classes that I never forget was just jazz, right? And so it was 1 and 2 where he took us all the way through the beginning. All the way just up to date now when you think about Winston and all them people. So Winston. But yeah, man. So now thinking about your role in Alief.
Okay.
African American. Is it first African American director?
Yes, sir.
And so, you know, with being the first, and I had Dr. Mays on, and we talked about that too, just being that first African American to kind of set foot out there. It's a lot of times it's a few intricacies and a few nuances that you got to navigate.
Just a little bit.
While still trying to keep that focus on making sure that regardless of what's coming your way, you're doing right by everybody. Yeah. So, man, I'm just gonna be flat out. How do you do it, brother?
Man, it takes a lot of patience, brother. I'm gonna be honest. You know, because you know when I came to Alief, the position was a coordinator level position. That was the max you can go, right? So when I got here, it was upgraded to a director's position. So it's the first director position, and you're the first African American to lead in that position. So I lead from a point of I'm not leading for me. I'm leading for everybody to know that, hey, man, we're capable, we're competent, we're just as skilled. You know, and you know a lot of people say, well, you got to work twice as hard, you get half the credit. Well, that don't motivate me. You know, my job is to make sure that this organization is better, you know, when I leave it than what it was when I inherited, right? So I don't take it lightly. You know, I have a lot of my guy friends trying to figure, man, how did you break into it? How did you get into the mode? I'm used to being the first of something. So that's not nothing new for me. My last school district, I was the first Black band director there when I joined the team. I was the first Black fine arts director there. So for me, it's a badge of honor. You know, I'm like, hey, man, I'm going to give you my passion. I'm going to give you my pride. And one thing I'm not going to do is I'm not going to lower my expectations. I'm not going to lower my standards because I know what excellence looks like because I've lived it, right? And so for me, I take the pride and say, hey, when I walk into a building, I go to a conference, I say Alief ISD. You know, I check in. They might spell it wrong. I'll correct, hey, Alief ISD. So they know that we're here, you know? I tell our team all the time, when I say hashtag on the move, we are. We're on the move to the next level. And so, you know, you can join the momentum or you can watch us keep marching forward. But either way, we're going to keep going. So I take it serious, man. Yeah, you have to deal with some politics and kind of be careful what you do in certain things because, again, first thing you get labeled as you're aggressive, you're cocky, you just tell people, I'm not cocky, I'm not aggressive, I'm competent. I'm confident, and I believe in what I do, and I believe in what kids can do. So if you're not pouring that passion into kids, yeah, I might rub you wrong a little bit, because I'm going to always say, now what? Because I have to think about my child. She goes to an Alief school, you know, and I want to make sure that she, along with every other child in Alief ISD, get a well-rounded education in the arts, you know, nothing less.
Man, most definitely, most definitely. Like you say, that's the same thing when I talked to Doc. It was just, man, my kids go here, right? And so it's a whole different level of advocacy.
Yeah, but you know, the interesting part is, you know, when people find out who your child is, they tighten up a little bit, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So my thing to them is, why do you tighten up? Because it's my kid.
Yeah,
that you should have that same level of respect and that same, hey, I'm gonna give you everything to all children out there, you know, not just because it's the director's kid, you know, give everybody that same type of respect and honor. That way we know you giving every ounce of your energy when you come to work every day.
Yeah, most definitely, man. And when you, I didn't know though that it moved from the coordinator to the director that year, man. So like the first.
Yeah. So
yeah,
when I started, listen, man, true story. I saw the job posted, you know, a lot sooner than I applied, you know, because I was having a great time. I was having fun. I just bought a brand new house. I hadn't stayed there 12 months, you know, but then, you know, my mom and dad had passed, you know, 2015, my dad passed, my mom passed 6 months after that. And so my twin brothers say, man, he sent me the job description, say, hey, man, look at this. I said, well, this might be my ticket to get back home. And so I just said, I hit submit, prayed about it. I mean, they called me and it took off from there. I really wasn't serious, to be honest, because I was having a good time in Austin, man. I like it out there, right?
Yeah.
But I figured if I'm gonna go to Austin and give these people my all, I definitely can do it for the H. So I was honored to come back home and be the first of anything, you know. And truth be told, man, like we've been doing some really groundbreaking things in this department. You know, I tell people, don't sleep on us. You blink if you want to. We'll be on a whole nother planet by the time you come back around and look at us again.
Yeah. And that's kind of leading into my next question. You know, when you understand that you're encouraging that creativity, right? And so that involves encouraging risk taking.
Yeah.
Right. Because we breaking ground, we're doing new things. So as the director, how do you motivate the educators and even sometimes the students to explore those artistic avenues?
Well, the first thing I think, Kendra, you think of when you think risk, you always got to think what the reward is. You know, I tell teachers, I even tell students, like I'll talk to them and say, hey, man, look at the risk, look at the reward. If the reward is higher than the risk, go for it. Go for it. You know, because you got to dream big and you have to try, put one foot in front of the next, because you don't know where it's going to land. You know, think about it. When I applied for this job, I didn't think they was going to call me at all. But I figured the reward was greater than the risk. And I knew I had to leave a team of teachers and join a new team of teachers. But I knew the endless possibilities were in front of me. I knew that already, right? So I just try to motivate them. If a teacher comes and say, hey, man, I got a good idea. You know, I just make sure, hey, let's think it through. Let's come up with a plan. What support you need from me, let's roll it out. And then when we get through it, let's go back and reflect. Hey, how did that work? What could we have done differently? You know, because we have to inspect what we expect, right? Yes, I think a lot of our teachers, they get it because I take risk all the time. You know, I'm very calculated. I'm very meticulous about which risk I take. Every risk is not worth it. Sometimes it's like, not right now. We're not ready for that just yet. But some other risks, I'm saying, hey, man, let's throw it out there and let's see if we can get it done. And then you'd be surprised, man, if you got people believing in you and people on the team and they want to work with you, man, the possibilities are endless.
Endless. Yeah, because we're going to figure out a way to make it happen.
Listen, I'm not taking the L. I can tell you that right now. I'm not interested in losing. I didn't wake up to lose. I wake up every morning and think about, now what? Where's the win coming from? Like every week I celebrate a win. I don't care how big it is, how small it is. I'm focused on every time I win, I know that's a win that these teachers get. That's a win that their students get. So that's how the focus stays. It always stays on what's in the greatest interest of kids. If I got to take a risk for children, I'm going to take it.
And thinking about going home and celebrating, with every great job comes great stress.
Yeah.
So now, how do you kind of separate that, man, and find that balance between the family life and then going through the director life?
Man, I'm gonna be honest, man. I didn't have that balance at first. You know, my daughter just turned 10, you know, last week, but she taught me that, right? My child taught me that. So I have to realize when I get done with doing my work for Alief and I come home, I'm daddy. You know, I can have the world's worst day. She don't want to hear that when I walk in that door, you know. So I've had to learn how to be very intentional about, you know, the drive home, if I need to get on the work call on the way home, do all that in the car. The moment I step out that car and step foot into my house, I have to be home and I have to be present, because it's important to my family to see me be a sense of normalcy, right?
Yeah.
And some nights you might have to do some work and do it a little bit later, whatever, but you have to balance it. Every week I find something to do where I can celebrate and reflect on, what we've accomplished this week, because you're going to get you're going to get some roadblocks in there, but I try to figure out where is the win and then make sure I can keep a level playing head, especially for my family when I come home.
Yeah. And thinking about that, I don't think you can do this job without having that passion.
Yeah.
Right. Passion for the arts. Now, when
Yeah.
you're going through, like, I know the music is your thing.
Yeah.
How do you navigate the art class?
The other area?
Because, yeah.
I'm going to tell you, man, it's unique. It's really different, because the art teachers are different than theater teachers. Dance teachers are different than theater teachers. Band director, we're wired a certain way, right? Yeah. It's go hard or go home, right? But you also have to have respect to know that, hey, you got to trust your people. Let them do the good work. What I try to do is I try to visit as many classrooms as I can throughout the year so they can see me present. Because I don't know what's going on if I'm stuck in my office. So again, I'm going to visit the campuses. And what I tell people is I get to see best practices every day of my job. So let's say if I go to Taylor High School and I see a great thing going on and I leave there and I go to Hastings and that teacher might have a challenge over there. I can borrow what I've seen at Taylor and say, hey, man, you might want to consider this because I've seen this work, with one of your peers across the district or whatever. So I'm always investing in other people and I'm always learning, but you have to respect them. They're the experts. My time is up. My job is to, hey, make sure I can clear out the pathway so they can get their jobs done, get them the tools they need to be successful. But again, I can't go in there and tell an art teacher, hey, you were shading that wrong. Oh, that sculpture look a little crooked. Yeah. That's not my role, right? Yeah. And so you turn people off, even with the band directors. I can go into a classroom and they can be playing wrong notes. I'm like, oof. But the band, I'll just ask probing questions. Say, hey, man, so how do you think class went? How do you think it sounds? Okay. And if he says it was awesome, you got to be very careful at this point. Yeah. Okay. But they're the experts, man. Kendra, so I trust and lean on them, man. And I'm always researching and learning as much as I can to be able to be a resource to them as well.
Most definitely, man. We got another comment, Marvin. I'm proud of my brother from another mother, Renferd. Come on, man.
I'm watching him in high school, man. I'm watching him in high school.
Yeah, man. I've been and like I say, just keeping that work going. Man, has it ever been somebody who thought they didn't have the passion or man, I just can't do this, I'm not creative, and you kind of had to talk them into it? If so, how did that look?
Yeah, man. So I can think about several students, but this one student in particular, man, I taught him in middle school when I was at Dowling Middle School Fine Arts Academy. And then when I went to Worthing, he went to Worthing as well. So I taught him middle and high school, right? And so when he got in the band at Dowling, man, he played the flute. He was from Haiti, and he's like, I want to play the flute. And I was like, man, you sure you don't want to play the drums or something? He was like, no, I'm playing flute. I said, okay, flute, let's go. Kendrick, when I tell you he dropped that flute more than he played it, I mean, that flute hit the ground more than his feet did, right? Yeah. And so I was like, this ain't the instrument for him, man. He gonna take me out. I'm gonna have to keep preparing it. So I put him on baritone and he took off, and I was just coaching him. Hey, man, practice this, do this, do this. He came to me when I got to the high school level and said, Mr. J, I want to learn how to play trombone. So I started teaching him trombone. A couple of weeks in, Mr. J, I want to learn how to play tuba. Boom, go from there. Get to his senior year, man, and this kid, goes to UIL solo ensemble. He advances to state, right? And so the Marines were coming around and recruiting at that point in time. Man, I had him audition for the Marine recruiter over the phone. The guy was like, nah, that's a recording. That kid don't play that well. Man, this guy, the recruiter, came to the school to meet him because he's like, man, I've never heard a kid play a baritone solo like that. And it was actually written for trumpet. So again, he didn't believe it at first that he could do it and be great at it. But I just gave him the tools he needed, man, and just watch how creativity, just took off in his body like that.
Yeah. And with somebody who thinking about trying to get into that creative role, what are some of the words that you tell them to kind of get them motivated? I'm just thinking about some kids I know at the LLC, man, who I know they got the talent inside of them, right? But because everybody is either you trying to get your music going or you making your beats. But I got some people who really inside of themselves. What do you tell them to kind of push that creative side out?
Man, honestly, Kendrick, it's simple. Dream big, man. There's no dream that's that you can put in your head that you can't really accomplish. You know, some people say, oh, you can't do that. Well, if you say you can't do it, then you can't do it, right? But if you dream and say, hey, I'm going to do it, so you have to change how you think about yourself and think about, you know, your own skills and your own talent. I'll encourage a kid in a heartbeat and say, hey, man, just put one foot in front of the next. You know, I have adults that call me and say, I want to learn how to play saxophone. I want to learn how to play piano. And I say, hey, get in lessons. Get your private teacher, go get you some method books, get in lessons and just see how far it goes. You never know what your talent is. Everybody has a talent. Everybody has something they're naturally good at. You got to figure out what that is for you. You can't copy what somebody else is doing. You know, like I know my skill set. I know my talent, right? When I became a percussion player, I knew I could catch on to things just like this. It was like clockwork. I could remember things really, really fast, but that was my natural God-given skill set, right? And so people poured into me to say, hey, man, try this, try this. So it's just giving them that confidence, man, and just being a person behind them, say, hey, I'm gonna push you a little bit, but let's just see where we go from here.
Mm-hmm. Most definitely, man. Come on, percussion. What was it? What drum?
Hey, I play snare drum, man.
Come on, like drum line.
Hey, I'm like machine gun on that thing, man. Like straight up.
Come on, man. Did you ever did it where they had it hooked up to the machine and then how they recording the beats and the measurements?
Yeah, man. But see, when I was in the band, we didn't have access to that kind of technology like that. So when I started, I was like, man, y'all cheat, man. You know, go old school, man. Get out there and shed and practice in that hot sun, man. But yeah, man, I started playing snare, like I said, in 8th grade, man. I went, like I said, all through college, man, and I had a great time, you know, challenging cats. Like you see drumline, they going back and forth. Oh, we live for that. I cannot wait to see a snare drum across the field stand up because I'm supposed to give you these machine gun rolls in a heartbeat.
And when you think about, you know, a lot of parents tune in, especially when I run the clips back, scholarships, you know, think about going through college. What is some ways that you know, thinking of their high school experience, that parents can kind of put themselves in position to even start to get those scholarships to go through college?
Yeah, so for music majors, I don't want to say it's easy, but it's a real simple process, right? So when you get to audition for colleges, there's usually a season, like we say audition season, right? So some universities do it the latter part of the fall, but primarily it's like February to about March. That's your sweet spot, because if you wait after that, then you won't get any money because they've been giving it out to everybody. But just making sure that the children are actually prepared. They have an actual solo, what we call in Texas a class 1, which is like a collegiate level, entry level solo. You got to make sure that you know how to read music as well, because again, I mean, you're going to be in a band program at a college with 200-300 kids. Nobody has time to teach you every single individual note. So you have to know how to read music, and then have decent grades. You know, you don't have to be a straight A student, but if you got the work ethic, you got pretty decent grades, whatever, and then your music chops are together. I mean, scholarships there. I marshaled a full band scholarship 4 years in college. I didn't pay for undergrad at all. Yeah. You know, so it's there. So I try to educate parents on how to sign their kids up. Call the college band director, talk to your high school band director, say, hey, I want him to go audition at Texas Southern. I want him to go audition at Prairie View. So I'm working now with a lot of the local universities trying to do like a mass audition for Alief kids. Like, well, they come out and we bring all the seniors over and let the band director just listen to them and offer scholarships. So that's a rare opportunity, right?
Yeah, man, that's powerful.
You can go to school, you don't have to pay for it. You know, think about that, graduating without any student debt.
Yeah. Look, I ain't gonna lie to you. I was in that group right in between. You can get in, they'll knock it off for you. Yeah, but you wait too late. Then a Republican said, "No, we gonna go." Yeah. Well, I was so thankful for that feeling there. So if I can get kids to feel that feeling before they get knocked off, yeah, that's what we want, man. So awesome work. Miss Meredith McCall Harrison, she said, so very blessed to work with such a supportive and encouraging boss, man.
Yeah, man.
Come on, man. That's it. That's it.
Her, man. She's my new facilitator for the department, man. And it's a blessing to have somebody on next to me, man, that sees that vision, that has that same passion, that grit, that grind, you know, and we grinding, man. Like we get in there every day. I can say, hey, I throw an idea out there. She come with another idea. I'm like, man, iron sharpens iron. So yeah, shout out to you, Miss Harrison. I hear you.
Hey, here it is. So, man, as we get ready to land this plane, what legacy do you aspire to leave through your work in fine arts and education? If it had to end today, what would you like to impart to educators, parents, and students?
For me, I think my legacy, what I would like if I hung my head up tomorrow or tonight, is a culture of excellence. You know, I said it all the time on my Twitter or X or whatever platform you want to call it, but just a culture of excellence. Like, you know, I want to be known for someone who had really high standards, you know, for just people, you know, not just students, but adults as well, because I'm one of those persons that I invest in people. I believe in people. I believe that there's still good people out there, right? But I want people to know that, hey, you know, the things that I do are rooted in a level of excellence. And it's a method behind the madness. You know, when people say, oh, that's not realistic, everything is realistic to me. You know why? Because I have really big dreams. You know, no one can tell me where I can't go in life. You know, that's up to me to determine how far I really want to go. So my legacy would be definitely a culture of excellence. That's how I operate. You know, I could have put on a t-shirt, right? And been on this thing with you tonight. No, this is how I represent myself. And this is how I want to always be represented.
Mm-hmm. Most definitely, brother. Maybe I almost have to go back and get out the KPTV shirt. I should have gone dapping it up a little bit, yeah, man. Hey, but no, man, I understand, man. Like you say, you know, keeping that consistent word, and this is what you know before, so coming every time like that.
Absolutely.
Yes, sir, man. That's so. Before we get out of here, man, any previews, anything you want to, any leaks, any exclusives you got for the Pioneers program coming up this year?
Hey, you better follow me at Renferd Joseph on Twitter. You better. Hey, I can't give you the secret. I can't give you the drop. You know, but I can tell you this, man. Like, seriously, we have a really good, exciting hiring class that came in this year for the Pioneers department. So we're just excited, man, to take this thing to the next level. Again, I got to tell people, nobody stops me but me. And nobody will stop this department but us. And so as long as I'm driving it, my foot is on the gas pedal, man, and we going full throttle ahead, because I know, you know, it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when for us. You know, because everybody want to talk about these other school districts. I'm not interested in it. I'm interested in how we're going to make Alief ISD the best district it's supposed to be out here, right? So that's kind of where my heart and my passion sits there. So just let everybody know, follow us. Keep your eyes on me, baby, like this here.
And it's going down.
Yes, sir.
Well, look, man, I want to say, man, thank you for taking some time out to come on, give us a little bit of information about the background, about your work. It's always exciting, man, to see brothers getting that shot and then making it happen, right? Because that narrative has to change, but I think it changed one brother getting in there and showing up competent and confident one by one.
Absolutely. Yeah, I appreciate the opportunity as well, brother.
Yes, sir. But Marvin to say, keep striving for greatness, my brother. Hey, that's it, man. Okay, y'all. Well, look, we got next up, we got some highlights from one of our Alief ISD teachers, man. So I thank you, man. We're gonna rock this thing out. You're welcome to stay on. I know if you gotta go, you got a family life. But yeah, man, we're gonna get into one of our educator spotlights, man, before we get out of here. And so, yeah, brother, just let me know, man, if you're ready to get out of here. But other than that, I'm going to jump in, man. We got Miss Katie. I want to say her name is Grathas, and she's over at Kilo Middle School. And so I want to give a shout out to Kilo. She is the ELAW, the yearbook and broadcasting teacher. And so I don't know if you know Brother Don or Miss Don Carlos, but she said that Katie is a great relationship builder. The students love for her, therefore they love her, therefore they work hard for her. And we all know kids don't work for nobody they don't like.
Absolutely.
She teaches many different classes with ELAW, as well as does both the yearbook and the broadcasting classes, and she does it all with a smile. She has a heart of gold and would do anything for her students. Her passion for teaching and her students is unsurpassed. There's no one more deserving of this honor than Katie. And so the message that she proves, I just wanted to remind you of how absolutely amazing you are and how many lives that you have impacted. And so that's when the time of, I got my board set up for tonight. So we missing a few applauses here. We missing a few sound effects. But look, we're going to keep that thing rolling for next time, man. And so one of the other segments that I want to always talk about, man, was how do we strengthen our connection between parents and teachers, right? And so I believe that is with open communication. And so as that band director, how often was that a part of the things that you did, bro?
Man, that's weekly. You know, parents are partners, you know, and I was one of those that I kept my door open, my phone line open. So I talk to him, and not just calling home when there's a problem. I'm calling him to brag on your child so you can see what I get to see, right? But it's a two-way street, man. We're partners in this thing. It can't be I'm on the left and you're on the right. No. I need y'all with me together. And so having a booster club, you know, and we did some good work together when I was a teacher, man.
Most definitely. And so for the writing, it said open communication between parents and teachers is the cornerstone of student success. When parents and teachers collaborate, a powerful alliance is formed, one that nurtures a child's holistic development. And so I just finished up the book. It should be here in a few days. And one of those, because it was all about working with minority young men. But you think about those teachers in their College Station or somewhere like that manner, you got these UT teachers, you got these Texas A&M teachers who may not come from that same background, right? And so at one point, it was 94% other than African-American staff, 76% African-American students. And so it was that building of the empathy, not sympathy, between that staff. But one of those things was that communication piece. So when that music is blasting at home, and now you don't know what to say or you don't know how to react in the background when you call it for something like a positive note, or you know, just the simple sheer of that. So that is one of the biggest things that I talk about in there, because man, that communication is so important. And so did you deal with those type of instances down in Maine where it was kind of like a difference of communication?
Yeah, it was definitely a culture shock, you know, because when I moved to Austin, it was on like 7% that was Black, right? And so that's different than Houston, right? And so for me, it was about let me learn the cultures that I'm teaching. Let me meet with the parents. Hey, if y'all having a quinceañera or something, I'm going. I want to go attend these because I need to understand the community that I'm serving in, and then just find ways where we can find commonalities, because nobody wants their child to be unsuccessful. So that's a common thread, right? But my goal was to make sure they understood that their children were going to be safe with me. They're going to have a great experience. We're going to have some fun. Yeah, I'm going to be tough on them, but you knew we was going to have a good time as long as you kept them in my band program or whatever. So it's investment, man. You got to invest in the whole kid. It can't just be, you know, oh, I only care about you in the band world. I need you to pass your classes, come to school, and behave, you know, and just and think, right?
Most definitely, man. That's it, brother. Man, well, I think really that was it. I just wanted to kind of tap into a few things. I wanted to make sure that I celebrated Katie tonight. Being that I don't have the board, I can't break it down like I want to. And so they say, when you got that good stuff, leave on top. So I'm going to thank with that interview we just did, man. And so as we come back next week, I'll spend the time this week kind of filling out this board, making sure that we get locked in, man. And I just want to say again, thank you for coming on, giving us some of the time. And that information, brother, I think the takeaways that you gave, if nothing else, man, I can go back tomorrow and tell so many kids, just dream big.
Yeah.
Right? Dream big. And I always try to strive for that greatness and just show up.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir, man. So any last words before we close this thing out?
Say, man, I appreciate the opportunity. You know, like I said, just stay tuned, man. We got more things in store in Alief ISD, guys. Straight up.
Hey, there we go. So, look, that'll do it for us tonight. Season opener. We had Brother Renferd Joseph. Awesome interview, even through the technical difficulties tonight. We still pushed through. We still here. We still showed up. Shout out to all the audience members that came through. We're gonna push it out a little bit more. This was just one. We're coming off the break. So I thank y'all for riding with us, staying tuned. And this is KT for KTTV signing out. 100.
This is Darnell with Broadcast Houston.
This is Dr. Tamara Beckford.
Hey, this is Candace.
This is London Underwood.
This is Kirsten Bass with Inner City Greens, and you're watching.
Y'all are now tuned in to
KTTV.
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 KT.